Wake up at Holiday Inn Express to a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. Count on all the hot, fresh coffee you need and an incredible breakfast buffet that has something for everyone, like eggs, cinnamon rolls, and even hot, fresh pancakes with all the toppings you crave. Next time, do yourself a favor and stay at a Holiday Inn Express with a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. So, when you wake up at Holiday Inn Express, you'll wake up happy. A part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.
This is great. So during the COVID pandemic, you've been quite creative and you have a new release out, Sobering Times. Tell us all about that new project.
Well, it officially came out April 9th, with worldwide distribution. And this is the second of my recovery rock and roll, based records. And the first one was Clean Getaway. And basically the songs on this record are a direct result of me going around the country doing recovery music groups at treatment facilities. Obviously, I don't do them exactly like I did them on the record. I do them on acoustic when I'm at the treatment facilities. But yeah, so the reason I did these two records is because of the response I was getting at the treatment facilities from these songs, from the people sitting right in front of me, from right on the spot, or they would email me when they got out of treatment, and I would bring a stack of once Clean Getaway was done, I would bring a stack of records and give them to the clinical directors to give to the clients that were in treatment so they could take the music home. And that's where this stuff comes from, they're all songs that I've been playing, which is cool because it gives me a chance to, when you're doing a record, I mean, I guess it's different from every artist, but it's great to take it on the road, first before you put it down, because you want to, oh no, that verse doesn't work. Let me take this bridge out. But I got to do that by doing these treatment facilities. Like, this is a great song. This is okay. Let me try to rewrite it or not,
Yeah. So when you're actually in the recording process, do you have all lyrics down first, or
Always.
does it come to you? Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. I said it backwards. I've never written the lyrics first.
Yeah.
I'm always starting with a guitar riff. So it's guitar riff, and then I start mumbling. Well, no, it's guitar riff, and then I start kind of humming a melody, and then I'll start. As I'm humming a melody, sometimes there's a phrase that jumps out by accident, and I'll write that down, and then I'll say, "Oh, that's good. That's a good subject matter," and go from there. I've never done it the opposite. I don't think I've done it once where I started with lyrics and wrote around it.
I think you would have to be kind of like a Bernie Taupin, because you're not a classically trained musician, and when it comes to somebody like that, they're coming up with the words first and then supplying somebody else with it. So.
Yeah, it's interesting, and that takes a lot of trust to say, okay, look, what I just wrote, this could put music to it. You got to trust somebody that they're going to put, the kind of music that you were thinking of in your head, but you can't do it yourself because you're not really that kind of a musician.
Yeah, that's a real challenge, though, for somebody like Elton John, who can just then set music to the lyrics, like take a poem and try to make that into a song. That's a challenge in and of itself, where he probably gets a criticism is like, oh, well, somebody's doing 50% of your work. Well, not really, because you're really having to come up with something, and that takes a lot.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm saying if you co-write with somebody, it's 50-50. I mean, that's the way I look at it always. But the fact that they're not even together, maybe in the old days, but now, so it's like Bernie will send him these lyrics, by email, and then Elton will say, well, what do you think of this? But it takes a lot of trust because artists are very controlling.
Oh, I'm sure. And especially being in it for a long time, you're pretty confident in what you're doing. So
yeah, but got two guys like that, they've been doing it for so long and they've had such success that completely blind trust,
Yeah, what a duo.
No, I'll co-write lyrics with somebody. I usually always write, 99% of the time I write all the music. Because by the time I get it to the point where I want to share it with somebody I'm saying, oh, this, let me, like on this record, I co-wrote with Willie Nile, two songs. One wound up on the record, one's an extra that I'm holding. And it would be like, all right, listen. And I went over his house and I played and I did that thing. I played the riff and I kind of mumbled, and he would go, well, what did you say there? And I'm like, I didn't say anything. He said, no, 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 you said something right there. He said, I don't know. I don't know. The rain falls on gently on the, yeah, let's use that. So I usually come with the music and melody.
That's Recover Me. Great track.
Cover me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Really.
he immediately, he said, recover me. I'm like, oh, cool. That's a good way to put it.
Well,
And he came in the studio and sang backups with me. And it's a duet. He sang the second verse, and we sang together.
so you were in person recording this. Did you do a lot of like file exchange? Because a lot of people during COVID were basically not together.
No, because we recorded the record before the lockdown started.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I was just finishing in March. So myself and Bob Stander, who's my co-producer on the last, on these two records and Lifer, the one before it, we were doing some over the phone mixing, which is really cool because they have software. I don't know how new it is, but
Sure.
we didn't have it for Clean Getaway. I know that, where instead of him sending me the file and me listening to it and then writing notes back to him, I could listen to him mixing it in real time and stop him and say, no, make that guitar a little lower, make that voice a little, I mean, it was a little dodgy with some of the wireless stuff, like a little bit of buffering or weirdness going on, wonky. But we did it. So we mastered it. He mastered it over at his studio, because we do the records out in Huntington, Long Island, at his studio, which is basically in his basement. It's a full studio, but it's this tight little basement in his house. So that's where I've done the last three records. And so, in other words, Willie came out there. Emily Duff, who co-wrote "I Ain't Gonna Live Like That," we did that totally by email. Once again, we co-wrote the lyrics because I had the music and the melody, and I sent her me singing, kind of,
It's all this now, all wireless.
Yeah, like I just turn this on and I sing into my phone, and then I just email it to whoever, and it's okay, what do you got? Like I just sent Willie I'm starting to write again, and I sent Willie Nile. I said, dude, I really think that you should be the guy that co-writes the lyrics with me on this, like a real Beatley, slow, So he has a new record out, so like I don't want to call him and say, dude, you got anything yet? But so Emily, we did by email. Richie Supa, my friend that I co-wrote a couple of songs on the last record, he lives in Florida, so we did that by phone and email, co-write the lyrics, and everything else I wrote myself anyway.
What a great project. I don't know if this was coming to you. It did to me. I was listening to it. It seems like you have a lot of this Bon Jovi vibe and some Springsteen and Southside Johnny. It really just,
That's interesting.
Raw. Yeah, just raw rock and roll. The first thing I hit Quitting Time, I'm thinking Bon Jovi. I don't know why it's just like totally hitting me. It's like,
well, funny enough, no, I don't hear that on that song. There's a song later in the record I might hear a little bit of that, but Quitting Time, I was hanging out with Steve Earle at his apartment in the city, and I played him Hear My Song, okay, which I'm playing on a Mando guitar, and it originally had the bridge twice, before the solo and after, and he goes, I finished, and he goes, no song needs two bridges. So I took that out. Now it's one bridge. But I played him the beginnings of Quitting Time. I said, let's write this together, because it reminds me of a Steve Earle song. He was like in the middle of like this off-Broadway show, and he was writing a new record, and so it never happened. So I just finished it myself. But I think it sounds more like a Steve Earle-ish thing. See, with me, it's like, listen, man, I wear my influences on my sleeve. Like, I don't really give a rat's ass. I grew up on a certain kind of music.
yeah.
I feel like I'm carrying the torch a little bit for these kinds of beats, this rhythm, this kind of style. And I don't really, it's to me, it's like a nod to stuff. I mean, I'm always throwing stuff in. Like there's always Steve Marriott from Humble Pie was a friend of mine, right? So like there's always one scream I do on every record that's a Steve Marriott scream. Not in his key, of course. He had a much higher voice than me. But always I tuck one in, you know, or I'll do a little Beatley kind of thing. And I do it on, it's like I do it on purpose. It's like, Bob, let's do like that kind of, you know, 12-string Beatley guitar solo. And in fact, on this record, I did less riffy guitar solos and more kind of planned out. There's a couple of times on the record where I just turn it, hit record, you know, but I was trying to do some really cool pieces of music, let's say, as opposed to just me playing blues.
Yeah, I really, and then maybe I even hear some more Bon Jovi and I come back stronger. It's like your victory lap. It feels like that.
Yeah, somebody else said that too.
Yeah.
About that. I mean, I don't think, like, I didn't grow up on Bon Jovi. You know, I grew up on the Stones and the Faces, but we're all like New York, New Jersey. You know, it's. I mean, Bon Jovi. He's from the same. Like, we used to play the same clubs.
Sure.
You know, before he was Bon Jovi. So like we're sort of. I mean, if you mean it's got a big chorus, cool. You know?
Right. You came back stronger. I mean, this is an autobiographical thing. So you're basically saying, look, I've done it. You can do it too. You've helped out a lot of people, became a counselor over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's great.
I haven't put it to much use. I worked before the pandemic at a great place here in Staten Island. I really enjoyed it. I'm also a recovery coach, and I'm going to be taking some more classes in the next month because I have to extend that. And I see myself maybe leaning more towards that. The thing with the counseling is you need X amount of hours until you can move on to the next, you know, square. And dude, you'd have to work, you know, 5 days a week for, you know, for 3 years of doing it. And because I'm still a musician and I do other stuff, it's really hard for me to do it that. I mean, I'd like to do it for, you know, a couple of days a week or something like that, and go into a place. Maybe I could do that, but I don't know if it's going to work out because I'm just doing so many other things. I mean, the thing that I love to do the most, and once for everybody's smart and this thing calms down, is to be able to go to treatment facilities. You know, that's my thing. Like I enjoy that more. You know, walking into a room, my acoustic, sitting down and you know, trying to spread the message of recovery through with my acoustic guitar and some words and stuff. Last week, I did my first live music group at a place way out in Long Island for the Sober House. So we couldn't do it in the Sober House because it's tight. So we did it in a church basement, like a cafeteria. So it was nice and spread out. I was up on a little stage. And it was great to play live to people actually sitting in front of you, because I've been doing a lot of this.
Yeah, too much of this. I love doing it. I love the technology, but we got to have that human contact again.
Well, I did something last night even. I did a thing for the Phoenix organization. I did a music group and I was interviewing. We're going to do this thing once a month where I interview one of my friends who either supports the recovery lifestyle or is in it. So last night I interviewed Liberty DeVito on this thing. So I played 2 songs, or actually they showed the I Come Back Stronger video, which is, you know, just, we put it out like last month. And then I interviewed Lib, who's an old friend of mine. And then I ended with a song I ended with Just Like You, this last song on the record.
Nice. Great drummer. He has been on my podcast as well. Has a great story. He wrote a really great book. Not sure if you got it.
Oh, yeah. And we're funny, we're funny together. 2 New York guys, like we're a couple of wise guys.
I get a kick out of that. When I met you guys that many years ago, it was just great. I grew up in Cleveland, so it's like New York light in a lot of ways. I grew up with a lot of guys like that, so it's just like, it's kind of like comfort food. It just kind of brings it all back home.
Just a New York Italian guy, bro.
Love that. That's just great. And you were honored as an Italian American. That was part of it as well. Yes.
Yeah. And I called him. I said, dude, you know, like I'm half, like my dad and that side of my family's Italian. The other side's Jewish. And they went, no, that's fine. So we went up to, they honored me as an Italian American doing, you know, the recovery work I do. So we went up to Albany and got the award in the governor's mansion. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I had like 3 quick words with Governor Cuomo. His funny line when he was introducing me, he said, "Yeah, I just want everybody to know that I taught Ricky how to play guitar." That was his line.
Must be a total cut up, I'm sure. You know, it's funny during those COVID conferences. I love when he was talking about his daughter's boyfriend. I like the boyfriend. I was like, I
Yeah,
could
once
relate,
again, another New York Italian guy.
could totally relate with that. Yeah, half my high school was half Italian, half Jewish. So I always joke, I was a pretty loud school. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's a lot of fun. But growing up in New York, you had some early influences, Rolling Stones and Beatles. You remember seeing those guys for the first time, I'm sure.
Yeah, I grew up in the Bronx until I was 13. Then we moved to Queens. Um, and yeah, that's my story. Is like a lot of people that are my demographic is we saw the Stones and the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, as well as Wilson Pickett and Joe Tex or Sam Cooke. I mean that was back then. That was where you saw music. There were no videos. Like we would watch music shows, and that was way before Midnight Special or any of that stuff. But the Ed Sullivan Show is like, oh, who's on this week? Oh, it's the Kinks.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all you have were the three channels. Kids these days would never even understand that. You get actual signal over air the traditional way, the analog way, not by a dish or anything like that. And just three.
Well, how about oh, the so and so Justin Bieber's doing. There's a live thing tonight. That's okay. Well, let's record it.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't have that. It was like you watched it or you didn't watch it.
It's a shared experience, but it's a different kind of shared experience. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going to watch Ed Sullivan," and you talk about it the next day in school, and you
That's
just
right.
wouldn't stop thinking about it. So
Yep.
that light bulb came right on. You were like, "This is what I want to do."
Yeah, I mean, and that's when I asked my mom for an acoustic guitar, which that guitar is in the Rock Hall now, which is really cool. But I don't know how much later, maybe weeks later for my birthday or something. I can't remember the month of the shows for the Beatles and the Stones. I mean, the Beatles were like, I like that. But then when I saw the Stones, I was like, oh, I really like that. It seemed a little bit more dangerous, and I guess for a little kid, it was like, wow, look at that, man. And they looked all messy and just, what is that?
Early Stones, yeah.
Early Stones. But then when I saw in 1969, I think, or 68, when they did Jumpin' Jack Flash, there's that famous video, and I think it was from Top of the Pops, if I'm not mistaken, the British TV show, and they were all wearing face makeup. I was just like, oh yeah, that's good. Let's turn the lights down and get nasty, and really, so that was the beginning. Now, where did I learn about all my other stuff? The blues and soul influences by reading magazines by Jimmy Page, Keith Richards articles, this one, Muddy Waters, Elmore James. Who's Elmore James? Let's find out who Elmore James is, and that's how I learned about all that stuff. Because on Ed Sullivan Show, I could be wrong, but I don't think there were any blues artists on Ed Sullivan. It's easy to Google. And on New York radio, there was BB King, maybe The Thrill Is Gone or something on New York AM radio. But if you heard Sam Cooke, you would hear Change Is Gonna Come or Twisting the Night Away, and not the deep tracks. Mustang Sally, you would hear, right? Wilson Pickett, Wicked Wilson Pickett, Dock of the Bay stuff. But then you wanted to like, well, who is this guy? Like, and then you'd want to go back and you hear all these tracks, like the Sam Cooke's gospel records with the Soul Stirrers.
Awesome.
Like I didn't know about that then.
Yeah.
I'd have to read people's articles that were older than me to tell me where to look. And that's what we try to do now, for younger kids.
Sure. You got to go out of your way and look. You got to really sift through it because top 40 radio is just that's it, and it's hard to dig beyond that. So
well, also what happened is because people started using samples, you'd hear somebody, like even my daughter would say, "Man, listen to that. That's so cool." And I'd say, "Who do you think wrote that?" "Well, he wrote that." I said, "Nah, let me play you something." And then I'd play them the real track that they took the sample from. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this is where it really came from. Man, that kind of freaks me out too sometimes when things are sampled. Yeah, my daughter's into that.
Well,
too.
as long as they pay for it, that's fine, and it also, like people had this thing about, like when I was a kid, and even when I started to get somewhere, like, you would never do a commercial, right? That was like, no, you know. And then all of a sudden, like, or a TV show, like your song, like, and then all of a sudden, like CSI, you would hear "Won't Get Fooled Again" or something, right? Well, at first, I guess everybody's like, "Nah, come on, man, really?" But it turned on a whole new generation to the Who, didn't it?
Oh, totally did. Yeah. Yeah. That,
Yeah.
that landscape totally changed.
So what was thought of as like a sellout back then is now just another monetary, you know. I mean, because as album and record sales and CD sales and uh, slowly disappear into the sunset, and people just like to stream for free. Um, Artists have to find other ways to, you know, pay the bills. No.
Yeah, you've kept up though. You really have all through these years. You're a classic artist, so you've gone through it all, and that's important to try to adapt to all the changes. I love how Bowie was always able to do that. If he were still around, I mean, he'd totally be into streaming, first embrace videos and things like that. So it's
Well,
important.
it would be nice if they would pay what they're supposed to pay,
True.
but
Yeah.
the point is, I guess it turns people on to your music, which then you could get them to come to your website. Like I sell, like I have a distribution company, right? BFE The Orchard / The Orchard. So it's all on Amazon and, you know, Apple Music and everywhere, and physical stores around the country, around the world. But if people want a signed copy, they go to rickybyrd.com, you know, and then I sign a physical CD. I know, like, you know, I think my demographic still, well, we would all love vinyl, right?
Yeah.
But
Can really.
still buy CDs because they buy them from me. You know, it's proof is in the pudding. And because I mean, I even though it's not the vinyl where you look at the liner notes, I mean, I still take a lot of time. If you open up the, I don't know if you have a digital or a physical copy, but I think we sent the liner notes with the digital as well.
Yeah, I got
I
that.
take a lot of time writing them because when they meant a lot to me when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. When you actually you hold it, especially if you got a gatefold album, Sergeant
Yeah.
Pepper's nice. Look at this. Just really nice to hold those lyrics. And some came with posters. They were getting to that into the 70s. And
Yes. Yeah. But they're doing so many relaunches of CDs, of vinyl records. See, I was going to do vinyl when I did a crowdfunding thing to raise money to do this Sobering Times record. And I asked, I said, who wants vinyl? And I didn't get enough people that were interested to make it cost effective, because even though they say that vinyl is coming back, you know, it outsold CDs, but that's not saying much because CDs didn't sell a lot. See,
right, right.
so it's still very expensive to manufacture vinyl. Now, if it goes down, fabulous, you know. But to just do like 100 special edition, you know, red vinyl, whatever, it's a lot. It's a good piece of chunk of change. And
Yeah.
also because I'm not really on the road, right? So it's not like I'm making, you know, merch money, or, you know, any merch money is like, I got t-shirts on my site and this and that. So you got to adapt and accept and adapt, right? Or
Exactly.
retire. You know, it's one or the other.
Like when you get to that age, and I'm sure you're there, it's like, I just can't retire. I just love this so much. It's like, I want to just keep going.
Well,
I'm,
I always say, I said after Sobering Times, I don't know, maybe this is maybe I'll just put out singles or something from now. I mean, what's the point, right? Like I can't, I don't have a band, so it's not like I'm going on the road. And I do enjoy, like I would go on an acoustic tour. I think putting a band together, man, is like, and getting it on the road and the expenses that come with it, with the return, you know, um, is
tough.
really tough unless you have a good, really, 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 really good fan base that you know that you could sell out places in certain spots. And I could do that, but it would take time to get that up and running, you know. So like I think my thing is to go around and do these recovery music groups. But if there's a special um music thing that I could do, like I've got stuff you know, in the works with ASCAP, you know, for the fall, like doing really cool things. But right now I'm doing this online stuff. Hopefully when things get better quickly, or hopefully sooner than later. The other thing that I love doing is these events that I'm asked to be in the all-star band, which is why my list of people I've played with is ridiculous. You know,
Yeah.
Brian Wilson, Springsteen, Dion, Mavis Staples, you know, Little Steven. That's because I'm always in an all-star band for these events, either at the Rock Hall or charity events around the country. So we back up these people that we grew up listening to. Smokey Robinson, you know, so I love doing those. They're not frequently. There's a couple of them a year. You know, obviously we lost all of them last year.
What a treat.
That's really great. Why? Because I get to back up those people, but also I get together with this group of, you know, my peers like Jeff Carlisi. It's basically those guys, right? Like we have this little unit, and then, you know, maybe this one doesn't do this gig and this one doesn't, you know, but that's always great because it's very short, you know, it's like 3 days. You go in the day before, you rehearse, you do the gig, next day you go home. Or if it's a charity thing, there might be like a golf thing you got to partake in, which I don't have a clue how to play. So I'm there to like drive around on a golf course and tell rock and roll stories.
Exactly. I don't know a thing about golf either. That's just somebody else's game.
No, I'm awful. If they raise the club up to this, then I could partake.
Yeah, I don't understand. You just stand there, you look at the ball. I went to Pinehurst. I did a story there once, and they were showing me how to do it. And I'm like, yeah, you just look down at the ball. You swing that way. You're not even looking. You're trying to look. I was like, oh, man, you can't get like more than 5 feet with that ball.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of shots off that were kind of cool, but I didn't. I mean, you got to really, I guess when you start doing it well, then you would enjoy it. It's like going to the gym, man. Like the gym sucks until you start seeing results on your arms and stuff, right? It's like, oh, I hate this. And it's like, hey, nice guns.
You just got to keep going. I'm sure it was that way when you learn guitar. It's like, I'm picking this thing up. I'm learning it by ear. And you just loved it so much, I'm sure.
Right. But I was so young that I was just, I don't even think I thought about it. It was just like, I'm a guitar player.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
As easy as pie?
Sure. All you have to do is enter your license plate or VIN.
As easy as a stroll in the park.
Okay, then just answer a few questions and you'll get a real offer in seconds.
As easy as singing.
Why not? Schedule a pickup or drop off and Carvana will pay you that amount right on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
Actually, I find that kind of difficult. But selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
Can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.
I think it's easier when you're younger to learn things like guitar, skiing, tennis. You just don't think it.
Although I really respect people. Well, listen, I went back to school, didn't I? For, you know, it wasn't like, you know, college. I went back to become a recovery coach and a counselor. I went to a place, you know, I sat there with a book, like a loose leaf book. And, you know, that was only 3 years ago, man. It's like, and trust me, I was the oldest person in the place. I was like Rodney Dangerfield.
Love that movie. It's like I tried to get out of school and now I'm pulling myself back in. What's this all about? I'm sure that's...
Yeah, but I think it's really cool. I think it's boring to just do one thing your whole life. Like, I think it's really cool when people do, you know, when you see people that are like, you know, Valerie Bertinelli, right? One day at a time. And now she's got a cooking show on you know.
That's cool.
Like, I love when people switch lanes and just start doing other stuff, you know?
Yeah, you shared the stage with Sir Paul McCartney at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. What was that experience? That's like golden. You probably can't even describe it. It's just like...
Yeah, I've been asked this question a lot. I look at it, when I see the clip of it, it's a lot scarier than when I did it. Because you were kind of, it happened so fast and you were just in the moment, and he was great. You know, there's so many great pictures where I got close to him and he was like smiling. I was playing Chuck Berry riffs and stuff, and he had this big grin on his face. But it wasn't really scary that night. But my speech, giving my speech was a lot scarier than playing with Ringo and Paul. And let's not forget, man, that's only two people that were up there. There's Peter Wolf and Stevie Wonder was standing, you know, like 10 feet from me, and Patti Smith and, you know, Gary Clark Jr. and, you know, Billy Joe Armstrong and who else?
That's awesome.
I mean, the stage was filled with people that I love.
Total.
So it was really cool. But yeah, it was kind of bizarre turning around and seeing Paul McCartney.
I was there when it was
And then turning around, there's one photo somebody took, and it's like cropped, and it's me and Paul McCartney like face to face, close, and between us is Ringo's head playing the drums. I'm like, wow, that is really bizarre. That can't be right.
Yeah, life is strange that way. I never would have thought 30 some years ago that I'd be able to do my work from home, to be able to actually, like, I edit videos for CNN. I do it from my kitchen table, and then it shoots off on Wolf Blitzer's show all around the world. I'm like, you get this can't be. It's like you pinch yourself how far things have come.
Are they asking you to come back in?
I have been throughout the pandemic, been going in for 2 weeks, working in the building because there were so few people in there anyway. A lot of people don't need to come in, but for the work that I was doing, if I have to crash things for something like Sit Room or The Lead, I'd have to go into the building. And then for 2 weeks, I would be at home doing the graphics for those packages, which can be done from home easier. So
You were, even before the pandemic, you weren't going in all the time?
Oh, I was. And then all of a sudden, the pandemic, suddenly they got the technology for us to work from home.
Right.
There was a miracle that happened.
Yeah, this is like going to be a new arena for a lot of companies.
Yeah. I mean, tons of them. I mean, they're going to reduce the real estate. They're going to take down CNN Center in a couple of years, and they're moving to the facilities at Techwood Drive where TNT and TBS are. They're just going to consolidate the whole thing.
Well, I guess they have to find out if people work harder from in person or are they at home and then they stop for 2 hours and watch, Ellen. Like, I guess they're going to have to figure that out.
I couldn't do that. I really couldn't. It's like I'm just too focused. But yeah, I bet there are some colleagues.
I got to admit, I miss Brooke Baldwin. I got to say.
I remember when she started out. Yeah. She
was funny.
Yeah.
I look forward to her and Don's drunken New Year's.
That was a lot of fun. I've worked on those specials. I just did the 4th of July special. I edited a little piece for
that was pretty cool.
Very.
That was a very good production. There was something that was. Oh yeah,
you saw Beach Boys, I'm sure. That was a little. If you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all, right?
I didn't say anything. I thought the mix. Let's just leave it. I thought the mix was a little weird.
That was strange. I knew some people who went on that shoot. I should ask them how that turned out.
From watching at home, just the mix itself. I mean, it's very hard to play live on TV, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've heard stuff that's amazing. It's just the mix was bizarre.
Yeah, you got to get that down just right and have the right audio people on that. And
yeah. Well, what it did is it put all the vocals. You had 12 people on stage, all singing different notes, almost right.
Yeah.
So it was, but God bless them. I love the Beach Boys.
Yeah. Pet Sounds. We've probably all been somewhat inspired. Even McCartney was as well.
Yeah, of course. The Beach Boys are a part of the American fabric,
Totally.
But it's really it's interesting because we applaud people that play live. When somebody's lip syncing and everybody goes, "Oh man, she's not even singing." But when somebody sings and it might be a little awry, it's like, yeah, but listen, they did it live, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that though. It doesn't have to be perfect. It gives you the rawness of it. So, I mean, not saying sing the whole thing off key, but it's just,
No, but it was the fact that the vocals were so above kind of the music that made it stand out, So,
right.
It wasn't the Beach Boys' fault.
No.
They were just doing their thing. It was just the way it was.
Yeah, it was
interesting.
But
enough about them. I mean, we did the with Joan and the Blackhearts. We did the 85? That last Beach Boys, the giant July 4th thing. We did it on the Mall in DC and in Philly. We were part of that big, huge show. Jimmy Page was special. I mean, everybody was there. Of
Wow.
course, John Stamos was there. Of course, he's been playing with them for a long time. He's a friend of theirs. Mr. T.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was the Oak Ridge Boys. It was Bobby Brown's. What was Bobby Brown's band again?
Oh, a New Edition.
I think it was New Edition was there.
Yeah.
Black Hearts. I mean, it was like there was this whole concert in Philly, a whole concert in DC, and then got on a plane and did it the same thing in the other place.
Well, you worked hard. You were with Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I'm sure you've been asked a zillion times, how did you meet Joan? And you were with them a full decade.
Yeah, I mean, the short story is I mean, I saw Joan at CBGB's with the Runaways. I remember seeing that, and I thought that was great. But the short story is Carol, my wife, was working at a management company in New York, famous management company, rock and roll management company, and Joan and Kenny had the Bad Reputation record out. They didn't really have a proper office. They were kind of using that spot, one of the offices up there. And Carol became friends with Joan. And at some point, I don't know, Carol said, where was I? I was in between. I did my first record with a band called Susan on RCA. Now that's a good record to try to find, the blue vinyl copy.
Back in 77, yeah.
77, 78, sorry. And I was kind of, we did a tour with Graham Parker and the Rumor across the country that we were opening for him. And then we came back and it was like, what do I do next? We tried to do a second record. Our guitar player left, and we couldn't quite get the traction, so we split up. And I was hooked up with John Waite when he left the Babies, so we were hanging out. Somebody thought we'd be good together, so we were kind of trying to write and just hanging out and stuff. And then I became friends with Steve Marriott, so we were hanging out. And then Carol said, "Do you know who Joan Jett is?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And she said, "You want to go down and play with her? She's at the studio." I said, "Sure." And I went down, we played, and I didn't know why I was there. And I wound up joining the band, and that was 81. So I played with them until 82. I mean 91. So it was a good solid 10 years. And then I came back in 98 and did, I think it was 98, right? And I did a VH1 special with her in Telluride, Colorado. And now I've been told that I did a couple of gigs around the Telluride thing to get ready, which I don't remember at all.
Wow. Done so much, yeah. It's amazing. Like people are saying, I remember seeing you here, I remember seeing you there, and it's like I don't remember.
No, I don't. I don't have a good memory. I have a lot of photos, and of course, I got sober in '87, so anything before there is a little dodgy. But I do have a lot of photos, so that's kind of cool.
Wow. Did you ever think it would get that big though, that you would end up in stadiums basically?
No, I don't think anybody thinks that, man. When you're starting out, you're just playing in a rock and roll band. I mean, I love rock and roll. God bless my friend Alan Merrill, who passed from COVID way early on, who wrote that with Jake Hooker. We put that record out, and then we're on the road just playing clubs, and it starts climbing the charts. And the next thing you know, you're playing giant places, opening up for like ZZ Top and Deep Purple and Aerosmith, and yeah, it was pretty quick, pretty heady stuff.
Oh, totally. It takes just that huge single to break through, and bam, it's so catchy, and it becomes the soundtrack, as of everybody's lives. I remember the summer of '82, and then the video. I mean, that was very big back then. Hey, MTV is going to premiere this new video, and it explodes.
And like, we put this video out for I Come Back Stronger, but where do you put it out? You put it out on YouTube. It's like, and then you try to get people to watch it. There's no real venue for that kind of stuff. Yeah, for like, J-Lo and that genre, new music. There's stations, I'm sure, but there's no real rock and roll, video station. Right. So you just kind of put it out there. So you got you got to adapt and do the best you can with what you got. The key is to keep putting out good music that counts. What happens with it after that is none of my business, really.
Yeah, and you don't have the time or the energy for it. You're into the creative process. The marketing thing, that's just something on the other.
Well, with that said, like if somebody messages me on social media and says, "Listen, I just listened to I come back stronger, and you know, you've really helped me with my day, and I'm struggling with addiction, or I'm depressed, and this song on sobering times really helped me. Like, what else can you ask for, right?
Totally, totally. And you have a cover on this, a
Oh,
Merle
yeah.
Haggard song. Why that particular Merle Haggard song? Did you ever meet him?
No, 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 no. We met Waylon Jennings though with the Blackhearts. I remember we were on one of those summer shows with him, which was cool. But I like to do a cover song. Like I did Kicks on Clean Getaway. I mean, part of it's business. Like I just wanted to make sure I can get a little, it's because it's specialized, this music, as far as the lyrics go. I wanted to give a little bit of shot to get some airplay wherever. Little Steven's Underground Garage, Little Steven always plays, when I put out a record, he always plays a song, which is lovely of him. He's a great guy. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't play it if he didn't like it, but thank God for Little Steven. And so Kicks he played. That's the track he took from Clean Getaway. This one I did a cover. So I was picking covers, and they always come to me like I'm sitting in my car listening to the radio and song. It's like, I remember when I was putting together songs for this record, I'm just going like, what should I do? I'm in my car and I'm listening to Underground Garage, and I hear ba 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 ba.
Shop the Plato's Closet Black Friday event in North Charleston and West Ashley and let the deals begin. You know Plato's Closet always has a huge selection of trendy recycled styles at amazing prices, but Black Friday deals are different. They're better. We've been holding back some of our best inventory, and you won't want to miss our Black Friday event. Save on gently used styles from Patagonia, Lululemon, Lilly Pulitzer, and hundreds of popular brands. Plato's Closet is ready to let the Black Friday deals begin. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Reach out, I'll be there. So I did a great cover of that, and decided not to put it on this record because there was a commercial going on for like a health care thing in New York of that song. I'm saying, well, this is weird timing. So I saved it. It sounds great. So it'll be on the next record or a single or something like that. And then the same thing, I'm sitting in the car and I hear Bottle Let Me Down, which by the way he did it, obviously is country.
Yeah.
And I said, and we were in the studio. I said, let's try this, and Tommy Price, my Blackheart buddy, I said, he came in to play on Together, the opening track, second track, sorry. And I said, let me play you this. I think you'd be good on this. And he played on Bottle Let Me Down. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good raucous. Now that's one song that we didn't finish until we were in lockdown. So we had to do it. In fact, Bob Stander's playing the solo in that because it was like, I couldn't go back in the studio. And I'm now set up to do, I'm learning how to use my Pro Tools again, but I wasn't set up for anything at that point. So we did, and then we sent the file to Jeff Kazee, who plays keyboards, and he sang background on it. And there you go, we got the song. Oh, I used the scratch track.
Wow.
That was the thing. I said, send me, what do we got for Bottle Let Me Down? He said to me, and I said, okay, I like that lead vocal. We could use that, and that's kind of cool. That was what I mean is that's the track that I did when I was just putting the song down quick. It's like, so everybody could follow. Let me just sing into the mic.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's nice when it's that spontaneous in the creative
process. And it might not be perfect, but that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for a song like that.
You've definitely worked with some huge legends, tons of them, but some that stand out. Ian Hunter, when I was growing up, wrote Cleveland Rocks. What was that experience like with Ian Hunter? That's just had to be.
Well, when I left the Blackhearts, I quickly did a record with Roger Daltrey and a radio tour. And some spot and TV shows like Letterman and Dennis Miller and a couple others. Regis and Kathy Lee, actually, we did. And then Ian called me and he said he was going to Scandinavia and England, and would I like to come with them? So it was me and him, and then we picked up a band in Scandinavia. I guess he'd played with them before. And now, I mean, you know, what can I say? I grew up on Mott the Hoople. So playing those songs, come on. And playing with Roger, doing a record with Roger at Abbey Road, and, you know, half at Abbey Road. And I'm in one booth and he's singing in the other. And I co-wrote the song that we're doing right this minute. And, you know, and I'm like, this is like bizarre, man.
Yeah.
Surreal.
So who would you like to perform with? Who's in
I would like to spend 5 minutes on stage with Keith Richards for sure.
Oh my gosh.
And also I would love to do Maggie May with Rod Stewart just once, or any Faces song, because that was such a big band for me when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. Still doable. Still can happen.
Yeah, I'm here.
You can do it. Yeah. Stones are still doing it. They're going back on tour again.
I know they're not coming to New York. This state. Yeah, it's everything but. I think they're coming. The closest is Philly or something.
That's really wild. Yeah, No Filter's coming here in Atlanta in November. And yeah, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a huge room. They got to get the sound right in there. It's tough to mic up a place like that.
Where are they playing?
It's called Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's we had a Super Bowl there.
Oh, okay.
3 years ago, something like that. Huge venue.
Yeah, but they'll always get the sound right.
Yeah, they got the technology.
Yeah, they've got the technology. I'd like to see them one more time for sure. You know, I mean, that's like if I had to name one band, that's the band. Of course, I love the Who and the Faces, and you know, even Slade. I love Slade, and Jay Giles. I was a huge Jay Giles fan. I still am.
Yeah.
You know, but the Rolling Stones influenced me from playing the style because they're from the blues and soul. So, and that's what I love.
I spoke with the director of a documentary that he did on the Stones keyboardist who's here in Georgia.
Chuck.
Yeah.
I did a gig with one of those events with him.
He seems like a really great guy. That's a great documentary.
The nicest guy. The nicest guy. Yeah. And let me not forget, let me mention my another band that I grew up on that I love, Mountain. And Leslie was a great friend of mine. So rest in peace, Leslie West. Another huge influence on my guitar playing, you know, that his tone, loud. Oh, they were so loud. Mountain was so loud. Right. Great. They might be on the top loud list.
That is so cool. Really, really cool. So did you plan on any more Rock Hall appearances?
Well, I did two years in a row. I did a recovery on the outdoor summer stage. The last one was with Kathy Valentine and Genya Raven, and Genya's partner John Lee Cooper and Liberty on drums, and Bob Stander came along and played bass, co-producer. Maybe the year before that, Michael DeBar I brought with me.
Cool.
So it would be nice to do those again. It's not going to be this year. I mean, I'm not sold yet.
Yeah, I know. We have, especially here in the South, it's like so many don't want to get vaccinated for their own selfish reasons. It's like, come on.
Listen, I'm not sold yet. I'm just waiting and watching to see what goes on. Yeah. As far as playing, like, you know, I mean, I would love to go to a Yankee game, but I don't know if I'm ready to sit in the stand. I mean, I'm vaccinated, you know, my family's vaccinated, but I don't know if I'm ready to sit in a stand with 30,000 people yet. I don't think we know enough yet. I think science keeps changing. You know, dude, it's a virus, man. It's not a thing that you could put this is exactly what's going to happen.
It's a nasty monster that just leeches onto people. And
it mutates. The more hosts it has, it mutates. You know, so if you want it to stop, then you got to get rid of the hosts. That's the way. Now, in 1918, there was no vaccine, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is, I think, I could be wrong on this. Was it 32 million people died, or 52 million around the world?
Yeah.
It was something like that. A little 700,000 here, right?
Yeah.
And it wore itself out because let's remember, it was 1918, so the population was so much less. So 700,000 people died here. I can't tell you how many people there actually were, but it was a lot less than there are now. So for it to naturally run out of hosts, you may have to double that of people that don't make it, until it's got no place to go anymore.
Right, which would take maybe 5-6 years instead of like 3, which it did 100 years.
I don't know. I just know from statistics and looking at history and, I don't know, man. I can't look. I'm my brother's keeper, but like if I can't convince you to.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, bro. Here, gamble, snake eyes.
I mean, you want to see the Yankees again? Yeah, that would be nice. Playing the Guardians, by the way, the Cleveland Indians are now.
What is that? What happened to the Cleveland Rockers or something? Couldn't they come up with a better?
Yeah.
Wait, let's see. What's Cleveland known for? Rock and roll.
For the
No, let's call it the Guardians.
Yeah, exactly. It's where it all started. I was in Cleveland when it was announced they were going to break ground for that. And then I came back in 95 for the opening show, which was just amazing. I had really good seats to that.
I've been, we were doing an event with Carlisi and Lib, like we were the band for about 5 or 6 years in a row. Or maybe it wasn't in a row, because the way it worked is if the Rock Hall induction was in New York, then there would be the event there, so it was like every other year or something.
That's right.
And every time we'd go there, I would take a walk by myself through the museum.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I just wanted to soak it all in. People have problems with, they didn't let this one in, it's political. Yeah, but dude, you walk through the museum and you see like Sam Cooke's tuxedo and, Jimmy Page's this and that one's, come on, man. It's like, this is like, oh, wow. I remember when Mick Jagger wore that shirt, and now our stuff's in there. And I know we have a display up right now. So like every time I do an event there, they're nice enough to bring my guitar and put it in a display case, which is really cool.
That is really, really cool. That's
Kid from the Bronx.
Yeah, exactly. It could be done. You could do it if you just, you got to stick with it and really work hard at it. And so now you're coming up on 34 years sober?
Yeah, September 25th of this year. It will be 34 years. It's crazy.
Nice. Very, very nice. Yeah. As they always say, it's like something you work on every day, just like any other kind of addiction.
Yeah. I mean, I do a little bit of this. You talk to a few people in recovery, you try to help a couple of people. I mean, it just, I'm lucky that my work is involved in recovery. So I'm always talking about it, like musically, these events I do. So it's always a topic of conversation, which keeps it at the forefront of my mind, which is a good thing. Because it's easy to get complacent when you got some time and you don't have that desperation, the gift of desperation, as they say. So
true.
So we just keep chugging along. Like I've been writing I like to write something when I sign these CDs. And this year I've been writing with words and music, we press on and pass it on. So
very good. Yeah. So you're ready to gear up for the next project. It's
I'm slowly putting songs I'm writing songs. I don't know when I'll feel comfortable enough to go into the studio. Well, I'm having Bob teach me enough where I could put the basic ideas down, and then we could take the file, over to his place. Like if I could put the general idea of the song, which would save a lot of time than sitting in his place and money, that would be a great thing to do in the next couple of months.
Sweet.
That's it. But right now I'm going to the gym because,
There you go. Yeah.
And then look, I'm wearing my.
Wow, there you go. The Stones for me, when I discovered them, it's the Some Girls era. That was just like mesmerizing. I got that in my old play. That's what I run to. Some Girls. I just wear that thing out.
I mean, I love putting on Exile on Main Street.
Exile on Main
Street. Like, that's the era, but there's always something cool. I even like when they did Harlem Shuffle, that cover.
Yeah. That was very good.
That was kind of swaggery.
I love the Scorsese filmed event he did there in New York.
Yeah, that was good. I can't believe I didn't go to that.
Oh my gosh.
I know, you get lazy, dude. As you get older, it's like, yeah.
It's like, why didn't I go to that?
Yeah. I did go to see Mott the Hoople 2 years ago here at the Beacon Theater. I had to.
It's cool. Yeah. The Beacon's got like, I would think pretty decent acoustics. It seems like.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great.
Very
cool. That's it.
Well, thank you so much. The new album is out there. Go to rickybyrd.com. It's with a Y. You put a Y in your name instead of regular old Byrd.
Yeah.
rickybyrd.com, and you could order Sobering Times. It's really good. It really is.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
I really, really enjoyed that. So
and you know, all the songs are up on YouTube if you want to take a listen. The distribution company put them all up there. If you want to take a listen first, a little taste, and then go buy it, and helping, you know, indie artists and me spreading the recovery message.
yeah, absolutely. It's really, really good. Check it out. Have a good one. Hope to see you maybe down here in Atlanta or maybe Cleveland, Ohio. We'll see one day.
Yeah, baby. I can't wait to get out again.
Take care. Have a good workout.
You too, man. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good one.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.